Thanks for joining us here at Functional Bliss, where Audra and Jessica will guide you through exercises and wellness techniques to help you live your best life every day. It's in the name, after all, Functional Bliss. Before you do anything else, click like and subscribe and ring the bell so you'll know whenever we put up a new video. To join our Blissful Gang for live Zoom classes where you can get more direct suggestions and encouragement, go to our website and sign up. Check the class description below for any equipment needs, grab your gear, and let's get started.
And the first minute of work for some of us, just depending on your disposition today, might want a little bit of a softer variation. So step your feet so that they're about hip or shoulder distance apart. Take an inhale, arms are going to reach up. Take an exhale, and we're reaching down towards the ground. You do not need to reach all the way down to the ground. You might go for like a halfway point and just go bending and hands to the knees. But we want that little, I call this the Winnie the Pooh good morning exercise, because he just reaches up, touches the sky, reaches down and touches the ground. So go at a pace that feels good, but see if you can match it to the breath. So we inhale when the arms go up and exhale as we fold down. How far you fold, totally up to you. How fast you go, according to your breath. And then just be mindful as you go. If you get a point where you're like, lose your equilibrium, pause for a moment, come back to it, and then maybe take that softer version. You're already halfway there. Ten seconds left. And time, nicely done. Okay, now we're gonna start with a light high knee march. So it's not gonna be extreme. We're just gonna pick up one knee, then the other, but notice your balance. If you like the balance and you want to hover for a moment, and then we're gonna add on. So we're gonna flick our fingers. So your fingers are gonna flick at the pace of your marching. And then as you start to increase your pace of your marching, so you might go a little bit faster if it feels good, then your finger flicks will match the pace of your march. And then just be mindful here. If you have long fingernails, just be gentle, or maybe just come in with a little squeeze and out with a little bit of a through the fingers. So do the thing that feels safest and best to your hands here. And then if you like just that tuning in, so for some of us working on our hand strength, grip strength is very valuable. But if you want to, bring your fingers a little bit closer to your ears and notice if one hand sounds stronger than the other. Ten seconds left. And time, nicely done. Okay, lower your arms, give your hands and your wrists just a little bit of a shake. And now we're gonna take it to a slightly wider stance position. We're gonna do a little twist with the arms wrapping around, but we're gonna put a little oomph into it if it feels good. So you're gonna let your arms kind of flap and swing and hit with a little bit of extra oomph. 30 seconds of work there. So twist and give a little bit of a thump and an oomph behind those arms with as much vigor as feels good to you. So if your back's feeling a little bit cranky this morning, you might choose to go just a little bit lighter. But now tune in here. How does your back feel? How do your ankles feel? Your knees are moving just a little bit. How do your knees feel? Go about one more time each side. And then we're going to bring the fingertips to the side of the head. Do a little side bend. Do a little side bend. Come to center. Push your butt back, hip hinge, fold forward. Do a little side bend. Do a little side bend. Push your butt back, little hip hinge forward. Go at a pace that feels good. We just want to move the spine in all the directions before we get started into the big part of our work. 5 seconds left. And time, nicely done. All right, make sure you finish both sides so you're just not walking around uneven all day. And now the first bit of work that we're going to do, you'll choose your own adventure here, whether you want to use your hand weights or your theraband. I tried them both, and I think I like the hand weights just a little bit better, but TheraBand's all you got. You're going to pull a little bit of tension on the TheraBand. You're going to keep your elbows tucked in at the side of the body. You're going to step back into a light little lunge, shrug your shoulders, lower them down, step back in, other foot back, shrug your shoulders, but we're going to keep that even distance between the TheraBand the whole time. If you would prefer to use your hand weights, then you're going to hold them at your side like a little bit of a farmer's carry. Step back into a light lunge, shrug your shoulders, lower them down, step it up, switch to the other side, shrug your shoulders. So pick the tool that you feel like gets into your shoulders in the best possible way. The lunge is light, so it could just be considered a staggered stance if that feels like a better way to think about it. So it doesn't need to be extreme. The shrug is what we're working on. The lunging is just to give us a little bit of an imbalance and get our core muscles to start working for us. Nice job. Five seconds left. And time, nicely done. Okay, weights or no weights, that's going to be up to you. But the next bit of work, it's going to be a 3 levels calf raise. First 30 seconds will lower slow, and then the second 30 seconds will land with a thump, depending. So we're going to take our calf raise in 3 little segments. So 1, 2, 3, all the way up to your top height, and then lower as slow as you can. Lift up 1, 2, 3. Lower as slow as you can, and then just notice your posture. Keep your head, your heart, your hips, and your heels in an alignment. 1, 2, 3. Lower nice and slow. And then if that's feeling good and you like the work, then maybe you'll grab your hand weights, but only if you want to. Don't feel like you have to push yourself every inch of the way. We got 10 seconds left with the slow lower, but think about how your body's feeling. And then when we switch at that 30-second mark, if it feels good, you're going to go up 1, 2, 3, and then land with a little bit of thump. So here we go. If you want to, instead of going for that lower slow, you're going to land with a little bit of thump. And of course, you know, I like that little exhales we land with the thump to kind of not let your breath get caught up in your body. So if you land with that thump, let that be your exhale. 5 seconds left. And time, nicely done. All right, next 30 seconds, you're either just giving your body a bounce. That's good for the lymphatic system. So if you were just sick or recovering from any illness, bouncing might be the thing. But if you're feeling really good, then you're going to take it into 30 seconds of jumping. All you have to do is jump. So nothing extreme. You're just going to get a little bit of springiness to your feet, to your ankles. You're going to let your feet land gently on the ground. Jump as much as feels good or take it into a bounce. It does not need to be extreme, but your heart rate is going to get up. So notice your breath here. We got 10 more seconds. All right, and at the 30-second mark, we're going to switch it into a jog forward and back. So when you're ready, jog it to the front end of your mat, jog it to the back end of your mat. Doesn't need to be fast. What we're looking for is that springiness of our step. So just enough that you feel a little bit of light bounciness to your heels and your ankles. Nice job. And time, beautiful. Okay, grab your TheraBand. Now we're gonna take it into our bow and arrow pulls in our horse stance, but we're gonna go for a little bit of a dynamic pace. So you're gonna get a good fair grip on your TheraBand. One hand pulls forward, one hand pulls back. We're gonna keep a little bit of tension on our wrists. So when we move forward, we don't want our wrists kind of buckling out. We wanna keep our wrists nice and stable, nice and strong. So we get a little bit of rotation, sink into a little squat. One hand pulls forward, one hand pulls back. Go for a dynamic pace if you can. Keep that heart rate up just a little bit. Keep your wrists nice and strong. We pull back think to the ear. That's where we want to pull back to. So draw the elbow back, keep your wrist nice and solid. You guys look amazing. Nice job. As you do this work here, you're getting into that little bit of a horse stance squat. Notice how your knees feel. Notice how your squatting muscles feel. We have one challenging minute of work today to go for your deepest squat, but today might not be the day to go to your official deepest squat. Today, you might tune in and just notice, how do your knees and your hips feel? And how deep do you think you'll be able to go? All right, that's time. Take a second to just give your shoulders a little wiggle, give them a little shrug. And now you're going to grab either your yoga block or your folded up towel. We're going to be 30 seconds one side, 30 seconds the other. So you're just going to stand on single leg. It's going to really challenge the balance, palms facing up. And we're just doing some chest pulls. We got 30 seconds with one foot on, 30 seconds with the other. And we're going to keep those chest pulls going the whole time. You have an option to stand near a wall or kickstand your foot. So you're feeling challenged, but you still have that little bit of support. So go where you feel the strongest today. Five seconds left. All right, switch your foot. So you're standing on the other foot, finding that challenged balance. So we're standing on our prop, single leg work, but you can kickstand your foot if you need to. Nice job, 10 seconds left. And time. Beautiful. Lower your arms, give your shoulders a little shrug, step off of your tool. And now we are going to go for your deepest squat. So that's going to mean something different to everybody this morning. So start with finding your maybe traditional squat, butt back, bend your knees, see how that feels. And we're not going to go for speed. We're going to go for depth of work. So take your time, start to play around with, where do you like your feet and your knees to be? Where can you find a good range of motion? I personally like a slight external rotation, knees pointing out slightly, and then I can squat nice and deep to the ground, but that's my legs, that's my hips. So find your range of motion. How deep can you go comfortably? And then how deep can you go comfortably and come back up nice and strong? And then if you're using your breath, you're going to inhale as you lower into your squat, exhale as you push with intention into your feet to come back up. Nice job. 20 seconds left. All right, now the next time you come low, we're coming right down to the ground. So when you feel ready, sit your butt down onto the ground, take a moment there. And now we're gonna go into some rolling star side planks. So you're gonna roll to one side, elbow and forearm to the ground, lift your hips, lift your top leg, lower, roll it over to the other side, elbow to the ground, just lift the top leg, roll it over to the other side. If you want that little add-on, you need that little extra bit of work, grab a single hand weight, take it with you. You'll lift it up and lift your arm. And then you have to do that nice smooth transition as you roll across to the other side. So find the depth of work here that makes the most sense to you this morning. Nicely done. We got 20 seconds left. All right, as you come back through center, now we're going to take it into a sit-up with a little bit of added on work. So you're going to come down to the ground, do a sit-up, extend one leg long, reach opposite hand to opposite foot, bring it back in, lower down, sit up, extend the other leg, reach across. So we're going to alternate between those two moves. So do a sit-up, come back in, set yourself up to come down with control, come back up, reach out, touch the foot, and then away we go. Now, if you want a little extra work, you can take a hand weight with you, maybe hold it across the chest, and then take it into that hand as you extend and reach, but only if the added weight feels good. You can get plenty of work without adding a load here. You're already halfway there. Five seconds left. And time. Okay, well, now we're going to come down onto our back and we're taking it into a long lever bridge. So come down onto your back, set your feet so they're about hip width distance apart, but now we're going to walk them further away from the body. So you're going to walk them out a couple steps, heels to the ground, hands alongside your hips. Exhale, lift up your hips, squeeze your butt. Inhale to lower down. We got 1 minute on the clock. We're just moving up and down at a pace that makes good sense to your body. We want that little squeeze of the butt muscles at the top. Lower with control, but keep those legs just a little further away from your body than you normally would. If this feels like it's not giving you quite enough work, you can always load up some weights at the hip points, but this might feel like enough. We don't do this one very often, so you may just tune in and pay attention without the load for this minute. And time. Nicely done. All right, walk your feet in a little bit closer to your butt. Lift your hips up into a regular bridge position. Keep the hips lifted. Grab your theraband. Now we're going to take a nice tight grab. Whoop! I pulled an Audra. I just totally tore my theraband in half. All right, pull it apart. Hold that little bit of tension. Lift your butt. Hold that butt up in the air. Tug your elbows down. Scrape the side of the body up towards the sky. Give a little pull apart at the top. Elbows down. Scrape the side of the body. Press your way up. A little tug apart. We got 1 minute on the clock. Keep your butt up in the air the whole time if you can. Keep a little bit of tension on your theraband as you press up towards the ceiling, and a little bit of a tug as you pull out to the sides. Notice if your butt or hips start to sag. Take a minute to just get a little bit of a lift and squeeze, and hold that lift and squeeze. Nice job. And time. Nicely done. Okay, lower your butt down. And now we're going to take it into a little bicycle crunch with a little bit of a clap under the leg. So you're going to pull one leg in, one leg is going to go long. We're going to reach under that leg, give a little clap, bring it back to center like a little bit reverse table. One leg goes long, one knee pulls in, crunch up, give a little clap. We got 1 minute on the clock. Alternate between those two spaces. Find a pace that works good for you. I do like the exhale as I crunch up, but you do the breath pattern that feels the most organic to you. 20 seconds left. And time. Beautiful. Okay, give your knees into your chest, a little squeeze. And now we're going to grab our theraband. We're going to do it around the feet. So we're going to do a roll up, but we're going to use the theraband around our feet. So loop your theraband around your feet. Legs are going to go nice and long. And now we're going to go slow motion roll up with an intention of noticing the segmentation of the spine. So you're going to get a nice firm hold, and then you're going to go as slow as you can, rolling down. Think one vertebrae at a time, scooping the belly in, come all the way down, and then curl up the head, neck, and chest. Exhale, roll all the way up, but go nice and slow. Bend your knees at the top to reach towards your toes. You don't have to reach all the way towards your toes because we're keeping that theraband around the feet. So go just as far as you feel that little bit of a sense of stretch, and then roll your way back down, but go one vertebrae at a time. Segment through the spine. Exhale, curl up the head, neck, and chest, one vertebrae at a time. Come up as slow as you go down. And then as you come up, give that little bend to the knees and a light hip hinge. Nice pace, you guys. Beautiful work. You're already halfway there. Fifteen seconds left. And time. Okay, the next time you roll up, we're just going to roll up to grab that theraband out from underneath our feet. And then we're going to come down into reverse tabletop position, but we're going to use our theraband at the chest. So you're going to just get a nice pulling apart, keeping that tension at the chest level. Legs are going to be up in that reverse tabletop position. We're going to go half corkscrew or bottom half of a circle. And then as you come through center, you're going to give an alternating toe tap. And then you're going to corkscrew to the other side. So legs will drift over to the left, circle around and down, come through center, one toe tap, the other toe tap, and then we switch to the other side. So we'll alternate directions of our corkscrew, but in between the corkscrew, you're going to give a toe tap with each leg. And the whole entire time, we're keeping that little bit of tension on the theraband in front of the chest. Now, if that feels like it's a little much, you can always put the theraband down and just focus on the work that's happening at the bottom half of the body. For some of us, it's going to feel a little bit better to stay in a slightly curled up, crunched up position. For some of us, it'll feel better to have the low back pressing into the ground. And for some of us, it'll feel better to have the natural curve of the back. So make sure your back feels strong and supported. And time. Nicely done. All right, we're flipping over into tabletop position. So set your band off to the side, come up, and then spin yourself around into your tabletop position. Once you've got your tabletop, we're going to walk the hands forward just a little bit so we find a slightly planked position, and then we're going for that kind of a push-up, kind of a child's pose. So you're going to lower down into a little bit of a push-up, and then push your butt back just a little bit, get a little reach through your arms. Come forward into that semi-planking position, give a little push-up, go back into that semi-child's pose. So not butt all the way back to the heels, but butt back just a little bit. We've got 1 minute on the clock. Take the work at your pace and position your arms in a way that they feel strong and comfortable. So we don't want the shoulders to feel like they're grinding on themselves. We want to feel like it's a nice organic movement. You just lower yourself down with a little bit of a lever of the body, push yourself back up with a nice firm center, and then draw your butt back towards your heels. You're already halfway there. And time. Nicely done. Okay, now we are going to take our yoga block. It's or yoga block or your folded towel, one or the other. The yoga block is going to be a little bit more solid. The towel is going to be a little bit softer and provide a little bit more cushion. But either way, they both are going to give us a little bit of height. So we do our hip dip sometimes. We let the knee drop down and we pull the hip knee up to knee height. But we're going to add on our hip dip just a little bit. So place your block or your towel. Find your tabletop position. We're going to do the hip dip. So we're going to hike the knee up to knee height, but then we're going to kick that leg up towards the sky and then lift it up as high as you can. Let the hip roll open, bring it back with control. Knee's going to touch down to the ground. Pick it up. You're going to go past knee height, float the leg all the way up to the sky, get a little reach, and then away we go. We got 30 seconds on one side, 30 seconds the other. You know, I like to only do 30 seconds as we learn a new move. So go at a controlled pace, picking the knee up, float that leg up as high as you can, let the foot fall behind you just a little bit, and then lower it with control. Nice job. 10 seconds left on this side. All right, that's time. Take a moment, step your knees off, move your prop over to the other side. So move your block or move your towel. And then once you've got yourself set up, knee on, knee or shin. So whatever feels like the most comfortable position so it feels solid and supported. And then away we go. Lift up, float the leg up nice and high. Let the foot fall behind you if it can. And then lower with control. We got 30 seconds on this side. Take it at a nice, slow, controlled pace. Beautiful work, you guys. Nice job. 10 seconds left. And time. Awesome. Okay, now we're going to move off of the block, off of our legs, and move it forward so it's underneath one hand. So your towel or your block underneath one hand, it's just whatever prop you have. Both are going to serve the same purpose here. So it's going to keep a little bit of height. Now you're going to take one hand weight. You're going to keep the hand weight at the center of your sternum. So find your center, keep your elbow tucked in. We're going to imagine we're leading with our ribs. So we're going into a little bit of a twist here. So hold the weight at your center, tuck your elbow in, pull your ribs up and back, lower back to center. We're going 30 seconds one side, 30 seconds the other, and use your exhale. So when you find that lift, exhale, lift the ribs up, look up towards the ceiling, inhale, release back down, come with control. Exhale as you rotate. Inhale to come back in. Nice job. Think about leading with your rib cage. All right, and then when you're ready, set your weight down just for a moment, reposition your prop over to the other side. So block or towel underneath the hand, then grab your hand weight, load it up at your center, tuck the elbow into the side of the body, lift with your rib cage. Exhale, rotate, look up. Inhale, come back to center. Notice one side might feel like it has more range of motion than the other. So if you like paying attention to those things, there's no right or wrong, but just notice. Ten seconds left. And time. Nicely done. Okay, now for our last minute of work, it's very nice. So we're going to take our block or our towel, we're going to move it up and ahead of us just a little bit. For my yoga friends, you know this as your half puppy pose. So you're going to take your other hand, not the hand that's going to be on the block. So for me, right hand is going to be on the block. That means I'm going to take my left hand, bring it perpendicular across the mat so the fingertips are pointing over to the side. Now my right hand is going to reach up to that yoga block or the towel, and I'm going to soften my forehead down to my forearm. And then we're going to hang out there 30 seconds, and all you have to do is breathe. 10 seconds left on this side. All right, when you're ready, lift up just enough so that you can pass your prop over to the other side. So move your block or move your towel. And now it's going to be left hand on, right hand is going to come across perpendicular across your mat. And then you're going to soften your forehead so that it rests on your forearm, and the arm is going to rest heavy on your towel or your block. And then all you have to do is breathe. And time. Nicely done. Okay, take a second to come up to a tabletop position. Once you've got your tabletop position, we're just going to do a couple of scapular circles. You're just going to roll your shoulders out, roll in one direction, let your ribs move with you, let your belly move with you, let your head kind of move with you a little bit. And then once you've done a couple of circles in one direction, reverse, go the other way. I always find the reverse is a little awkward on this one for me. I don't know why. All right, one more circle around, and then lift your belly up, curl your toes under, lift your knees up away from the ground, and we're going to walk feet towards hands, hands towards feet. Just find a nice soft folded position. Once you've got that soft folded position, hover just enough, make fists with your hands, and then we're going to draw circles with our fists. Circle in one direction. Reverse directions, go the other way. Beautiful. And then release the fists of your hands, bend your knees a lot, push with intention down into your feet, come all the way up to standing. And then once you're up and standing, arms are going to reach right up and overhead, grab one wrist, lift, and then lean away, get a little bit of a side bend, and then rotate your heart just slightly like you're trying to look up towards the ceiling, and take a nice big breath. Lovely. Lift up with control, come through center, grab your other wrist, lift it up, and then dip over, and then rotate just slightly like you're trying to look up towards the ceiling. Beautiful. Come up nice and slow and controlled. Release your arms, float them down, give a little shrug of the shoulders, and then we're going to take one little roll down towards the ground. So find a nice even stance, tuck your chin, imagine you're peeling your back away from that imaginary wall, or do that slow segmented roll up position. So you're going to take your time, roll down as slow as you can, bend your knees as much as you need to, so that you roll down in a nice, soft, comfortable way. Once you're down on the ground, take pause just for a moment, and then bend your knees, pull the abdominal muscles in slow as you can, segment your way up. And then once you're up to standing, take a moment just to come back to that light little bounce. Bounce your heels, bounce your arms, give everything a little shimmy shake, maybe kick your legs, maybe kick your other leg, give everything a little bounce, a little wiggle, and then you guys are done. Grab your foam roller if you're sticking around. Nice work today. See, usually once you've got your space cleared and you've got your foam roller, bring it perpendicular across your mat, and then we were going to start in a kneeling position. So find your tabletop position. Once you get there, if you opted to not cushion your knees and you're like, oh, actually, I do want to, take a second, grab your towel, make sure everything feels good. We're going to move it right into a cat-cow. So we'll inhale, drop the belly, lift your chest, lift your tailbone. Exhale and round your back, round your shoulders, press firmly into the roller to find a little space between the shoulder blades. Inhale, drop your belly. Exhale, round your back, but get a little bit of an extra press into the arms to bring that space into the shoulders. Go one more time. Inhale, drop your belly. Exhale and round your back. Great. And now we're going to go elbows and forearms onto the roller. We're going to keep that stable position, and it's going to be a pelvic tilt. So think cat-cow, but we're just moving the hips. The upper body is going to try to stay as stable as it can. So you're going to curl the tailbone under, lift the tailbone up. It won't look like a lot of movement. We want to use our core and center muscles to find the work. So curl the tailbone, lift the tailbone, just staying at the hips. Go for about 3 more if you can. All right, and then once you've done that last one, bring your weight back toward your heels just enough. Now we're gonna go palms facing down and roll out the forearms. So we're gonna roll out and away, come back in with control. Use your core muscles to keep a nice bit of support in your center. So we're rolling out, but not putting too much pressure on the shoulders, and then rolling back in with control. Beautiful. One more roll out and in. And then the next time you come in, we'll flip the palms so palms are facing in towards each other, and think blade edge of the hand. So we're going to roll out the blade edge of the pinky out towards the elbows. Come back in nice and slow. Take a few rolls here. Nice. Now the next time you come back in, we're going to flip the palms, palms facing up towards the ceiling. So we'll roll the backs of the hands out to the forearms, but with the palms facing up, it might slightly vary your range of motion. So keep a little bit of weight back into your heels and go only as far out as you can control coming back in. Lovely. One more roll out and in. And then we're going to come back in. Left hand's going to stay on the roller. Right palm is going to press down to the ground. And then we're going to steamroll the top of the right hand. So you're just going to press down with your left hand, roll up and down your hand, up to the wrist, down to the fingertips. Wonderful. One more little steamroll of that hand, and then we're going to switch. So roll off the fingers, right hand on the roller, left hand on the ground, palm facing down. Roll up and down, up to the wrist, down to the fingertips. Beautiful. One more roll up and down. And now we're going to go right forearm, palm facing up. So right forearm on the roller, left hand's going to put a little bit of a pin down. So you're going to hold your left hand across the roller so you can pin that right forearm down. Roll your fingers of your right hand into a little fist. Roll your fingers out and away. Roll your fingers in. Roll your fingers out. One more time. Roll your fingers in. Roll your fingers out. We're going to roll the fingers in, hold that little fist, and then start to roll your fist in circles. Circle in one direction. Circle the other way. We're going to keep with that hand, and we're going to keep with those circles, but now you're going to release your fist, take it into a claw hand. So make a claw with your hand. Keep that claw as if you're holding on to an imaginary grapefruit, and then circle in the other direction. All right, one more circle around, and then relax your hand, and then just do a little micro roll up and down on the space that you were keeping pinned onto the roller. All right, and then once you've micro rolled just enough, we're going to take it to the other side. So left forearm on, palm facing up, right hand's going to trap the arm down, roll your fingers into a little fist, roll your fingers out and away. Roll your fingers into a fist, roll your fingers out, roll your fingers in, roll your fingers out. This time, roll the fingers in, hold that fist, draw your fist in circles, circle in one direction. Draw your fist in circles, go the other way. Awesome. Now make that claw hand or hold on to the grapefruit, and then take that grapefruit, circle it around. And then circle it the other way. Nice. And then release all of that, soften your hand, and then just give a little micro roll on the place that you were just keeping that pressure on. All right, and then once you've rolled it out just enough, we're going to go into a straight up puppy pose. So we're going to roll that roller out and away from us. Keep your hips fairly in line with your knees. Make enough space between your arms so that your head can soften down. And then just take 3 nice deep breaths here. All right, then when you're ready, bring that roller in a little bit closer. Now we're going to go belly button line. So if you already know that your belly is feeling a little bit tender this morning, or if you've got anything going on with your tummy, you may choose to just go to an upright seated position and pull the roller up against your abdomen and do some deep breathing here. But if your belly's feeling good this morning and all systems go, you're going to come down onto the roller. You're going to keep your knees supporting, elbows and forearms supporting. Find that belly button line. And then we're going to do a little bit of push of the belly button into the roller. So you're going to firm up your belly like you're trying to push the roller away from you with your abdominal muscles, and then soften your abdominal muscles over the roller just as much as you can. Push into the roller with your abdominal muscles, contract the muscles like you're pushing the roller away, and then soften over the roller, maybe softening just a little bit more. Notice how that feels, because for some of us that can be a little bit tender. Tense up, push the roller away with your belly button, and this time we're going to soften and stay there for 3 cycles of breath. So you're going to soften as much as you can. You might feel that little bit of heartbeat in the belly. It might feel a little bit squiggly, but as long as there's no pain and you're breathing comfortably, you're good to go. Take a nice, generous breath in through your nose. Nice, slow breath out. All right, and then once you've completed that last cycle of breath with control, lift yourself up just enough so that you can move the roller down. Now we're going to move the roller underneath our hips, so underneath those front protruding hip bones. And then once you found that hip point, you're going to come a little bit lower from the upper body. So arms in crocodile position for my yoga friends. So elbows out nice and wide, hands stacked. And then either your chin or your forehead will rest on your hands, but we're going to do those little leg lifts. So we're going to float the toes up and then touch the toes down. But think about lifting from your butt muscles. You are going to feel that little bit of pressure against the roller. So make sure you only go as high as feels comfortable to the front of your hips. And then once you've got everything going on, let your head rest and go for about 3 more here, just using your pace. And then once you've done that last one, if it feels good, step your feet slightly wider, let your knees soften down, keep your hips on the roller, but let your tailbone now get nice and heavy towards your heels. Let your head rest and take 3 nice deep breaths here. Great. And then once you've done that last cycle of breath, firm up your belly just enough and then prop yourself up on your elbows. Once you've got yourself propped up, we're going to dip a little bit to one hip point, dip a little bit to the other hip point. So we're going to rock gently onto the hip points. Check your knees though, make sure that they feel comfortable doing the work. And then when you feel ready, we're going to roll over to the right. So you're going to roll across that hip point onto the right side of your hip and then give a gentle roll up and down here. One more gentle roll up and down here, and then pause at that center point, and we're just going to roll a little bit forward, a little bit back, but go slow and mindful. It doesn't need to be fast. Go for one more time, a little bit forward, a little bit back, and then slowly and mindfully come through center, line up your hip points again. Pause for a moment just to make sure everything feels good, and then we're going to roll over to the left. So roll over onto that left hip. Notice one side might feel very different from the other, so be sure to honor the side that you're working on. If it feels good, roll up and down. Beautiful. One more time up and down, and then come to that middle point and rock a little bit forward, a little bit back. One of the ways I might know that there's something there and I need to breathe deeper into it is if I get into a point and all of a sudden my jaw clenches up and I'm clenching my teeth a little bit, then I know I need to send a bigger breath down to that space. So take one more little rock forward and back, and then we're going to carefully roll through center just enough so that we can pick the hips up and then move the roller down. So now it's going to be in the top of the thigh muscles. So you're going to get in the front of your thighs, top of your thighs, and then we're just going to do a little roll up and down. So think about an inch or two, not too far. Beautiful. Come to the bottom of that roll, bend your knees and swish your heels just a little bit side to side. All right, one more swish of the heels from side to side and then float your toes down. You'll either roll up the roller or move it down manually. So we're just gonna move it down just a little bit, go down an inch or two. And then once you've found that new space, gently roll up and down, but stay within that just like 1 inch or two. So we're just gonna stay in that small space of work. All right, now come to the bottom of that roll, bend your knees and gently swish your heels a little bit side to side. Nice. One more swish of those heels side to side and then float your toes down. We're moving the roller down one last time. So move it down maybe that bottom quadrant of your thighs. Once you're there, elbows and forearms support, toes on the ground. Make sure you stay supported here. Gently roll up and down. Stay with that 1 to 2 inches of work. All right, one more little roll up and down, and then we're gonna come to the bottom of the roll. So we're kind of close to the knee joint, and you're just gonna float the toes up, touch the toes down. So barely, your toes are barely lifting up off the ground and then touching right back down. So it's like a 1 inch lift, touch them down, go for 2 more if you can. Beautiful. And then push your way back to a tabletop position just so that we can slide the roller out to our side. We're going to go inner thigh work. So put the roller off to one side, come down onto your belly, right inner thigh on the roller. And we're just going to do a nice big roll of the inner thigh. So you're going to let your hips move from side to side with as much of a gliding motion as you can find. Roll all the way in, roll all the way out, get as much ground covered here as you can. And I have a little bit more of my body weight on the back half of my body. So up in my shoulders and the leg that's on the ground. I'm not putting too much of my body weight onto the roller. All right, one more roll in and out, and then we're gonna roll a little bit close to the knee, but the knee is still over the edge of the roller. And then we're just gonna do those little heel lifts. So you're gonna let your heel drop in front of the roller and then pick your heel up. Go for a slow controlled motion. Be mindful here. This might be a tender point for some folks. So just make sure you feel like you're breathing comfortably, moving the heel up and down at a pace that feels nice. One more time up and down, and then the heel's just gonna kind of hook over the roller and you're just gonna rock micro rock. So you're just gonna do little micro rock forward and back. All right, and then once you've micro rocked forward and back just enough, roll that leg off, and then we're gonna pass the roller over to the other side. I'm gonna flip myself around so I'm facing out, but you flip yourself around in a way that makes sense. And then we're putting that inner thigh up on the roller and big roll in and out. So you're gonna let your hips move with you. I'm keeping most of my body weight on my shoulders and my leg that's on the ground. Nice. Take one more in and out. And then the next time you come close to the knee, but the knee is still over the edge of the roller, we're going to do that little heel lift. So the heel is going to touch down, heel's going to lift up, get as much range of motion here as you can find. But be mindful, it could be a tender point. So just go at a pace and a depth that feels good to your body. One more up and down, and then we're just going to let the heel rest gently on the roller and do a little micro roll, like a little bit of a little vigorous rock. All right, one more little rock and roll, and now we're gonna flip over onto our butt, and then we're gonna take it underneath our calves. So pass your roller underneath your calves, and then once you've got it there, we're gonna move it right into our foam roller walk. So we're gonna just walk down towards our ankles, and then here, come as supported as you want to. So you can lower down onto your elbows and forearms. Find as a relaxed position as you can, so you can just let your legs get soft and heavy onto the roller, scooch that roller down toward your ankles, walk that roller back up towards the backs of your knees. One more nice walk up and down. And then the next time you walk down and you find your Achilles tendon, we're going to stay there. We're going to keep a little bit of a heavy weight on just for a moment. So let your legs get super duper heavy. Let your toes and your feet get super soft and heavy. Take a breath. And then we're going to add a little point and flex to the feet. So you're going to reach through your toes and then flex your feet with a little bit of intention, pulling the toes towards your heart. Reach your toes away, flex your toes and pull them towards your chest. Reach your toes away, flex your toes. Do 2 more here. Go at your pace. Awesome. And now we're going to walk the roller in. So walk it in one big giant step and then right back to that point and flex. Reach your toes away, pull the toes in towards your body. Reach your toes away, pull the toes in, reach the toes away, pull the toes in, soften your feet, walk your roller up another inch or so. Once you're there, back to that point and flex. Reach the toes away, pull the toes in, reach the toes away, pull the toes in, reach the toes away, pull the toes in, soften your feet, walk the roller up another inch or so. Now, maybe hopefully you're getting into that middle thick part of the calf muscle. Flex the feet, point the toes, flex the feet, point your toes, flex your feet, point your toes, soften your feet, walk the roller up just another inch or so. And then once you're there, this time we're going to just swish the toes from side to side. So you're going to get that nice meaty portion of the calf muscle on the roller as soft as you can. Rock your knees, rock your toes, rock your hips a little bit side to side. Wonderful. One more little rock side to side, and then we're going to walk the roller back down towards the ankles and then turn the toes out. And then we're going to go for a little bit of a frogging maneuver. So we're going to pull it in. You find the blade edges of your feet, roll over the heels, roll your way back out nice and long. Keep the toes turned out, roll it in, find the blade edge of your feet, roll it away, legs go nice and long. One more time, just like that. Roll it in, find the blade edge of your feet, roll it back out, go nice and long. And now we're going to pull that roller in underneath the bend of our knees. And then once you've got it underneath the bend of your knees, we're going to take it into a little forward fold. So you're going to lift up and over, reach towards your feet. Doesn't matter if you can touch your feet. We're looking for a little gentle stretch in the low back. Take one more breath. Come out just enough so that we can lift the knees up, move the roller underneath the backs of your thighs, and then use fists or use your hands, push into the floor, lift your butt up, keep your knees slightly soft, and take a couple of good generous rolls to the backs of your thighs. Nice. And then as you roll through the backs of your thighs, notice if there's any point where you're feeling a little bit of extra sensation. And then we're going to find that point, land on that point, float your butt down to the ground, and then just give your knees a little gentle swish from side to side. Awesome. One more little swish of those knees side to side, and then we're going to pick our butt up, move that roller right up underneath your butt, and we're moving right into our hips. So nice big wide placement of your feet, and then roll across. So side of the glutes to side of the glutes, and take your time here. Go as fast or as slow as feels good to your body. All right, now the next time you roll over to the right, we're going to stay there and we're just going to get nice and heavy. So you're going to get onto the side of your glutes. Everything is just going to get soft and heavy. All you got to do is take 3 nice deep breaths. All right, now before we release, you're going to do like a little micro rock, as if you're trying to just get a little get up and go oomph. So make it a little bit of a light bouncy movement, just a light rock forward and back, but keep it at a little bit of a nice tempered pace. And then once you've rocked it out just enough, roll all the way over and across to the other side, land on that left side glute, and then hang out there. All you have to do is breathe. They take 3 cycles of breath. Beautiful. And then take it into that nice paced rock forward and back. So we want it to feel like a little bit more like a wiggle jiggle. All right, one more little wiggle jiggle rock, and then come through center, hands to the roller, pick your butt right up and off, and then we're gonna get into that soft side body tissue. So lean into the soft side body tissue, prop up your elbow, pick up your butt, and then we're gonna do little micro rolls here. So we wanna keep it supported. We want the shoulder and the legs to help support because there's not a lot of bony structure there. So we're just gonna softly roll that side body tissue. Take 1 or 2 more rolls up and down. And then land your butt down onto the ground, lean into it just a little bit. So we want to just lean our curve of our rib onto the roller. So lean forward, take a nice big breath, like you're trying to breathe into that bottom rib. One more breath. Nice. And then we're going to roll right over and across to the other side. So take your time, roll across, find that low back side body tissue. And then once you're there, support, legs are going to support, pick your butt up just enough and do a couple of gentle rolls up and down. Beautiful. One more gentle roll up and down, and then we're going to lower the hips down and lean into it. So we're going to roll on just enough so that that bottom rib finds the roller. And then once you've got that bottom rib onto the roller, you're going to imagine that you're breathing down to that bottom rib. Beautiful. One more breath. And then slowly bring it back to center. And then we're just going to move the roller so that it's now underneath the bra line or underneath the shoulder blades. And then once you're there, hands behind the head just to give it a little support. And then take a big full range of motion roll. So we're going to go all the way down to the bottom of the rib cage or below the shoulder blades and all the way up to the tops of the shoulders. All right, now the next time you come up towards the tops of the shoulders, go nice and slow. And now you're going to drop your right elbow down. So we're going to kind of hug up onto the top of the shoulder. Keep your butt lifted if you can, but you can also lower your butt once you've got that shoulder on. So find the position that feels the most supported. And then once you're there, just do a little micro rock. So that wiggle jiggle rock. One more little wiggle jiggle rock, and then come back through center, hand behind the head, pick your butt up if you lowered it down. Take a nice generous roll up and down. And then as you come back up to the tops of the shoulders, now we're going to drop that left elbow down, come up high on the shoulder, keep your butt lifted if that amount of pressure feels good, or lower your butt down, stay in that light supported position, but then we're going to do that little wiggle jiggle rock. So you're just going to rock a little bit forward and back. Nice. One more little wiggle jiggle rock. And then we're going to carefully come back through center. So come back through center carefully. Don't do what I just did. Once you've found your way back to center, a couple of generous rolls down to the bottom of the rib cage, up to the tops of the shoulders. Nice. And then the next time you come up towards the top of the shoulders, we're going to come underneath the curve of the neck. So lower yourself with control. Let the roller come underneath your curve of your neck, but we're going to keep it light and gentle. And then once you've got it underneath the curve of your neck, you're just going to gently turn your head from side to side. One more gentle turn of the head side to side, and then we're going to lift up just enough so that we can move the roller underneath the skull. So now we want it underneath that more supportive bony structure, and then bigger turns of the head side to side. Beautiful. One more big turn of the head side to side, and then lift your head up. Move that roller out from underneath you. We're going to roll our way up through into a tabletop position so that we can place our forehead on the roller. So you're going to spin yourself all the way around. And then once you're there, if you wear glasses, it might feel good to just take your glasses off, set them somewhere safe. Elbows are going to tuck down. We're going to keep the butt lifted up in the air. We don't even want to bring all that much pressure back towards the knees if we can stand it. Go space between your eyebrows or your forehead, whichever feels more comfortable. Let that point gently rest on the roller. And then we're going to draw little micro circles. So as if you're drawing a little 1-inch circle with the tip of your nose. Circle in one direction. Reverse direction, go the other way. If you think it would feel good to reposition, maybe find the forehead, maybe move to that third eye center. And then once you're there, little rocks the head side to side. One more little rock of the head side to side. And then pause just for a moment. Let the weight of your head rest. Take a nice gentle breath in. Slow breath out. Lift your head up just enough. If you took off your glasses, take a second to put them back on. And then we're going to keep hands on the roller, curl your toes under, and we're going to lift up through a downward facing dog. So nice, slow, controlled movement. Lift up into that upside down V. Walk your feet towards your hands. Keep your hands on the roller just for a minute. Feel a little stretch or stress through the backs of the legs. And then if it feels good to do so, a couple little light steam rolls to the top of the feet. All right, one more light steamroll to the tops of the feet and then leave your roller on the ground. Bend your knees a lot. Take your time as you gently roll your way all the way up to standing. And then as you come up, give everything a little wriggle jiggle, give everything a little bounce and a shake. Move all that stuff around out to the outer edges of your limbs. And then be sure to drink plenty of water after doing all of that work.